Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard. Glad that you could join us today. Our guests are Carolyn Thompson, Board Chair, and James LaFlamme, President and CEO of BioPharma Global. And they've joined us here on Health Professional Radio today to talk about rare diseases, some of the trends in rare disease research, and the FDA and EMA approval processes. Thank you both for joining us today here on Health Professional Radio.
Well, thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
Now, you all started a nonprofit, BioPharma Global. Why did you decide to start a not-for-profit that specializes in this type of activity?
I'll take that one. This is a space where there's only a few companies who work in this space on a regular basis, and they're for-profit companies that have an exit end game where they want to make as much money as they can and then maybe sell themselves off to someone else. And rare diseases are not going away. So we thought it was important to create an opportunity for people to be able to get their FDA and EMA approvals from a company that was focused more on the delivery of the approvals and good services to the biotech industry than trying to make a profit for ourselves. James, to add to that?
No, I think that's perfectly well said. We wanted to create an entity that was going to perpetuate itself, to provide scientific guidance. And we see a lot of companies come and go in the regulatory affairs space in the rare disease. We thought there needed to be a different model out there.
What is it exactly that makes a disease rare?
So there is a classic definition in the U.S. It's a disease that affects 10 people, and in Europe it's 5 and 10 on a per country basis. And so, and there are roughly 7,000 rare diseases without cure. And so, that's how it's defined in the classic sense. It's based on prevalence.
Now, Carolyn, you're the nonprofit working in this space, as you say. What type of reaction does BioPharma Global get when your press releases or any other information about your activities as far as FDA and EMA approvals based on getting those approvals as opposed to profit? Are there, I guess, naysayers or people that think that this model isn't the best for rare disease research?
We haven't had, that I'm aware of as board chair, we've had no one turn us down because our pricing is less. So there's a lot of researchers across the world that don't make a lot of money or are funding their own research, and they don't have a lot of money to get to the next level. So they can't afford to pay the higher fees being charged by for-profit companies doing this. So our fees come in 20, sometimes 30% less than some of the other competition, because our goal is to have a strong regulatory and scientific staff behind them to be available and have staff availability to get the work done in a timely manner. We don't take so much work that we can't get it done in a timely manner, and that we are able to provide just the same type of high quality service as a for-profit company does, but in a more efficient and time effective manner, so that, you know, if we could do something to bring the cost of a drug down, we want to be able to do that.
We've had, it's been well received. As a matter of fact, we've probably gotten a lot of business because we're not for profit. We don't work with anybody. We work with companies that have the same mission that we have, which is in the rare disease space, where they want to make a difference. So most of the companies we work with are looking for that nonprofit entity to help them out, as Carolyn said, mainly from a cost basis.
Is there enough volume to make this something viable for years and years to come as far as the nonprofit aspect of getting these approvals done? Are there that many approvals where you've got 4 companies and then you guys working these things? How many approvals are we talking about that you all can handle as opposed to the others?
Well, just to give you an example, go ahead, Carol.
Well, one to two, the FDA in the United States receives 1 to 2 applications a day, as an example, and they approve 250 or so a year out of that possible 400 or so that they're receiving. So it is enough. There is enough work in the space to be done, and there's a lot of people who are developing things. So we try our best to try to reach out to those people and dig a little deeper, and so that they know that we are available for them when they're ready for that approval process.
Let me just add that to your question, it's not just the orphan designations that we do. That's the first step, and it's the primary step. But there are 8 or 9 other pieces to this leading to approval that we can help them with. So the volume is definitely there. And right now, the FDA has a huge backlog. In fact, I think they're up to 160 days before you can get an approval. And the legislation calls for, I believe, a 90-day turnaround. So there's definitely enough work for us to be viable.
And our team also does things we have a specialist in device approval as well, not just drug approval. So the FDA has different processes for different approvals. We happen to have a specific team of people who are specialists in orphan drugs treating rare diseases, but we also have subject matter experts that do a few other things that are also being approved by the FDA, like devices.
Your company is BioPharma Global. We've been talking about some of the U.S. approvals and processing here in the United States. What about some of the other countries? Are you working with folks overseas that are trying to have things approved here?
So we work with companies. In fact, we have a couple clients now, one in India, we have one in Spain, a couple in Belgium, China. And they're working with us to get their products approved both here in the U.S. and in Europe. Through and the EMA is a little bit of a different process. It's a little more time-consuming, but the same principles apply. So we work with, if they're in the rare disease space, we don't discriminate. If they want to get a product approved in Europe, and let's say they're an Israeli company or a company in India, we will work with them to help them navigate the paperwork, and we give them the appropriate scientific advice. So it is truly global. And right now we have several clients outside the U.S. as well as inside the U.S.
Carolyn, as board chair, what type of collaboration, if any, goes on between you as a nonprofit and some of these other entities working on these approvals?
No, I'm probably better suited to answer that. Yeah. We have strategic partnerships with a few of the for-profit companies that are in this space, mainly because they actually like the not-for-profit model. And sometimes it's a bandwidth situation. And other times we know that in order to bring the best possible solution to a client, we may need to bring an expert into a niche area that either we don't have the bandwidth to do it right now, or we don't do a lot in that particular area. So we do have relationships with 3 or 4 for-profit entities on a global basis. We work really well with.
And we use non-disclosure agreements, obviously, in those instances, because it's sensitive information going back and forth.
Have you noticed any, adjustments in any policies outside the United States based on our policies as these approvals are made easier, I suppose, or more, streamlined sometimes through your process?
You know, the guidelines are pretty strict, so I can't say that I've noticed any major changes. You know, now when we work with other entities, they may look at the way we do something and change their process because we think we're more efficient. If that's what you're asking, then yes, that has occurred.
Now, where can our listeners go and get more information about BioPharma Global and your initiatives as they pertain to rare disease research, and possibly get involved themselves as researchers?
Well, our website is biopharmaglobal.com. We post news every day. Carol, maybe you can speak to that.
Yes, there's information on our website that's updated daily about things that are going on in this space, and also if someone's interested in working for us, we do employ people we're in the DC metro area, but we do employ people on a remote basis as well from time to time, depending upon their specialty, and we'd welcome those submissions. We also have positions for different companies that need assistance. We provide some assistance in staffing and recruiting also, so take a look there if you're looking for a job in this space.
Well, I thank you both for coming in, Carolyn Thompson, Board Chair, and James LaFlamme, President and CEO of BioPharma Global.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm. You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, listen in and download at SoundCloud, and be sure to visit our affiliates page when you visit our platform at hpr.fm.